and Anton puts it in. So here's the pass ahead that was made by Anderson. Anton Stastny's number 20, Peter number 26. Defense caught, obviously. That was Dave Babbage, I think, up near the blue line was caught, and it set up that 2-on-1 situation.
Anton Stastny with the goal, a power play goal. His 18th of the year. Anderson and Peter Stastny assisting. 6:36 to tie. And here is an icing call now against Quebec. We've had 12 goals in this game. They don't have a 13-goal pool. That's in baseball where they have the 13-run pool, right?
Maybe the way the NHL is now, they should have it, especially out west. But we're not used to seeing that sort of thing out here. And who's to say that this game, considering that during the first period, we're looking at the way Steve Weeks has been playing, and don't forget that Weeks has only had to deal with 2 shots in this period, that he looked very shaky in the first period, and if Quebec can get any kind of offense going here, we just may see a close hockey game before we're done.
Yeah, in the first period of the 2 goaltenders, I thought Weeks looked the shakier of the 2, but it's Malarchuk that's gone, and Weeks is still in there. But for how long, may be the question. Puck shot in. It seems to be that type of game. Quenneville trying to clear it. Moeller held it in, put it right through the goal crease. Now it's Gavin breaking out for Hartford. Gavin, who's replacing Deneen on this line with Francis and Turgeon. To Francis, to Turgeon. Shoots, he shot it wide. And the rebound quickly cleared by Moeller for Quebec. Here's Goulet to Peter Stastny. Broken up by Merzen. Dana Merzen. Lead pass to Francis comes into the Quebec zone. Sevigny out of the goal, clearing it. Now, the Nordiques break out. Here's a 3-on-1. Anton Stastny with Anderson and Cote. In front, Anderson fanned, so did Cote. And now Hartford come back. Here's Samuelson. Centered, nobody there to get a stick on it. Kershaw held it in. And Quebec trying to clear it. Now Dale Hunter knocking Turgeon down. Here's a loose puck picking up by Anderson. John Anderson. Over to Donnelly, number 34. Sliding it back to the goal, and then Donnelly decked in there by McDermott. And Donnelly is down on the ice and injured. And then Hunter took a run at McDermott. Donnelly, the Quebec defenseman, gets up slowly after being checked by Paul McDermott.
Well, McDermott has laid it on with consistency in this hockey game, and he leveled Donnelly, who's a pretty tough guy in his own right. The reason they put Donnelly, I think this may just break out into fisticuffs before we're done here. Number 4, and there is Dana Merzen, big kid who seems to be at the core of all of this. And he is up against Picard right now, off to the left of your picture. And they're holding tight. Let's see what this happened now. Here's Donnelly is number 34, up against the boards. He's bumped, and he is sent headfirst in against the boards by McDermott.
David, let's keep that one.
McDermott is against the board. So that's what started all of that, and they're still wrestling down there. And now it looks like Picard has finally got the upper hand on Merzen. And Picard's not much of a fighter. He doesn't generally do this sort of thing, so he may be content to just let it rest at this particular stage. Hunter's on his way to the penalty box already, being guided by Jerry Pateman, the linesman. Really wasn't much to all of that, except a lot of hand grabbing, just sort of hanging on, and that's going to end it. So they're separated.
So Hunter and Merzen are separated here, and we look like we have order restored. We're in Hartford, Connecticut on a Friday night. It's 8-4 for the Whalers over the Nordiques. This is the NHL on CTV.
The most important day between your engagement and wedding, CKXM's Bridal Fair. Come and see. Enter draws for exciting prizes. Win a trip for 2 anywhere in Air Canada's world. There's everything for the bride-to-be. Our show has the finest in bridal fashions, including the very special Today's Bride Fantasy Collection. It's all for you. CKXM's Bridal Fair.
Next Friday night, our CTV cameras switch to the Patrick division.
And this could be a dandy. The Washington Capitals, who had been playing fairly well, very well, as a matter of fact, up until about a week and a half ago, run into a few problems. And the New York Islanders, who are hit and miss this year, led by Pat LaFontaine and Mike Bossy.
Hold on.
Should be good action. Washington Capitol Center.
Okay.
Let's hear the referee.
Merzen gets, with his minor, he gets a misconduct too. 2 and 10. Okay? Now everything's crossed out. 1 minor goes up on Quebec's side. We'll have a guy over to serve that minor.
Hunter, I would think. They were leading him to the penalty box when all of this started, but...
Or maybe, I guess they're not going to give McDermott anything on the play, are they?
Well,
Hunter and Picard are there now.
They were their combatants. Yeah, that's it. All right, now there's going to be somebody to serve the extra 2, I think, for Merzen.
Let's listen to the PA if we can.
2 minutes for high sticking, 2 minutes for roughing.
That's the extra 2 minutes there.
Hartford on number 5, Paul Samuelson, 2 minutes high sticking, 2 minutes roughing. Quebec penalty on number 24, Robert Picard, 4 minutes for roughing. Hartford penalty on number 4, Dana Merzen, 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct.
Well, the extra 2 minutes is to Picard in his scrap with the other player, Merzen. And it's going to wind up being a power play here for the Hartford Whalers. McDermott gets off scot-free for the original check on Donnelly.
Well, I thought the check was all right. He didn't run him that hard. It was a check just as he was unloading the puck from behind, mind you. But
no, but the definition of boarding is throwing a man violently into the board.
Yeah, you're right.
If I can add my 2 cents, it's a harmless play. Donnelly's just dumping the puck, and he has his back to McDermott. I thought it was a bit of a cheap shot myself, but you know, as a player, you can see how the Quebec people would get incensed over the play. It's 8-4 hockey game. Plays moving up. It's really a harmless play. It's not like he was moving him off the puck to get to someone else. The play was virtually over. He had his back to the boards. I don't know. I think McDermott got off a little easy now.
I'm having a difficult time announcing it without trying to referee it. So I'm going to leave that to
I think
Mr. Koharski.
Mr. Koharski's having enough trouble down there. He has just put himself in a real mess down there and trying to figure out what the penalties are, because what has happened really with all the coincidental stuff and so on is there's 1 penalty up on the board. That is the extra 2 minutes that has been handed to Picard. He got 4 minutes for roughing. And so...
And the man he fought, Merzen, got 2 minutes plus 10-minute misconduct. I don't know why they made that call, but...
Unless Merzen said something. What happened at the end of that fight was that Picard was kind of sitting on top of him, and I don't think he was going to let him up. Picard, as I said, is not what you call one of the scrappers in the National Hockey League. He plays a good brand of defense, but he doesn't spend a lot of his time fighting, and I don't think he was that interested in getting involved in that sort of thing, and hence there was not a fighting penalty there. It was all roughing.
Well, we're down to 11:51 left in the second period. Goals are cheaper by the dozen. It's 8-4 for Hartford, and the Whalers are going to have a power play right here as they get this sorted out, and we're ready to resume the hockey action. Now, just as we are, the Nordiques to decide to change things around. Gillis comes in, wins the face-off, and gives it to Moeller, who cleared it in for Quebec. Hartford on a power play with Risto Siltanen working it to Ron Francis. He's chopped down by Gillis, now cleared in by Lawless for Hartford. Sevigny shot it away, and it comes to center ice. Siltanen has it there, and now back to the play. A penalty coming up, I think, against each team. Gillis and now Ron Francis comes over. Apparently he had a stick up too. I think I saw him signal both teams. So Gillis goes in, and so does Francis.
This comes at 9:30. Coincidental stuff again. And behind the play as they got their sticks up. So again, there may not be too many. There's 4 in the there's 4 in the Quebec penalty bench and 3 in the Whaler penalty bench right now. So they're getting a good-sized penalty bench in this building. That's one thing. They need it here. Looks like prison, doesn't it?
2 minutes for roughing.
Francis gets a roughing penalty. Gillis a high sticking penalty. They're coincidental minors. Meanwhile, the only penalty that means much is Picard's second penalty, and he has a minute 39 left, so Hartford's still in the power play, and the Whalers with 8 goals, 1 for 4 in the power play. I thought they'd have more than that with the extra man.
It seems that way.
Puck shot in by Hartford, cleared out by Moeller, and Siltanen has to go back and get it. Siltanen to Dave Babbage. Over onto the wing now to Ebbison. He's being checked by Eagles. Ebbison dropping it back, and Siltanen is the Whaler power play. Works to center to Turgeon. Turgeon poke check by Moeller, and Siltanen has to go back. Rink wide to Babbage. To Dean Ebbison. In for Turgeon. Turgeon, number 16, trying to center, and diving across to block it was that man right there, number 21, Moeller. Good defensive play by Randy Moeller.
Good young defenseman who's come along, has grown up in the National Hockey League, basically. He didn't bother this year, but he's in his 4th year in the National Hockey League. He came in at the age of 19 out of Lethbridge, and you can see him develop. He's just become a better and better kind of a goal defenseman, rather, as he's come along. So Gillis, not much on that Quebec bench, is there, over there? That fellow there has been very busy tonight. Count up the number of penalties we've had in this game. It's starting to add up. No fights, interestingly enough, but all kinds of other stuff.
Give that job to Dave Maloney. You know, the young guy, the new guy, gets all that type of work. Have him add up all those penalties. Here's a puck cleared out by Quebec.
Problem is he can't read my score sheet. He's keeping it all over there.
Well, that's why I wanted him to do it.
That's cruel and unusual punishment, I'm afraid.
Here's Siltanen. Hartford still on a power play. To Crawford. This pass went off a skate, comes back to center. Hartford with an 8-4 lead and operating with the man advantage right now. Crawford dropping it into his own zone. For the most part, the Whaler power play has been going backwards here on this ship. Here's the pass to Crawford, upended by Timoff. Fans thought a penalty should have been called. None was. Shaw trying to clear it. Babbage held it in. Over to Siltanen. Shooting. Sevigny the save. Ferraro after the rebound, but cleared away by Alain Cote. Now the puck bounces. Shaw cleared it. Gets it by Babbage, and here comes Malone with a man out of the penalty box to help. Malone couldn't get it to him. Now Malone back of the net. He was trying to get it to Golan, who came out of the penalty box. Here is Golan, back of the goal. Hooks down a Hartford player. No penalty call. Golan shoots one, and Weeks makes the save, and then smothered it. No penalty, but a close call there for Quebec. 8-4, the Whalers lead. This is the NHL on CTV.
Chevy Celebrity's got a winter break to warm your heart. A $500 fuel efficiency bonus direct to you. $500 on every gas-saving 2.5-liter Chevy Celebrity we sell. $500. Use it as part of your down payment or get a check direct from GM. Now, isn't that a nice warm thought? Give yourself a $500 Chevy Celebrity winter break, but get them while they're hot.
Play is underway in the second period elsewhere in the National Hockey League. Orlando and Berta, it's now 3-2 Sabres over the Canadians. Poulin for Philly, Sinisalo for Philly, 3-1 business as usual for the Flyers. Pat Verbeek scored again for New Jersey, but Alan Haworth has made it 2-1.
And here is a chance for Anton Stastny from the faceoff just wide of the net, and the puck comes down into the Quebec zone. Rochefort to Anton Stastny. Now to Peter Stastny, ahead to Goulet. Goulet checked by Quenneville. Quenneville trying to get it into center ice. Right back come the Nordiques with Anton Stastny. He's checked, and going back is Rochefort for the Nordiques. Banking it off the boards, and it gets through the defense. Anton Stastny now flipping it through to Goulet. He's checked, and it's cleared back out by Jarvis for the Hartford Whalers. Number 21 for the Nordiques, Randy Moeller. shot it into center. The team's now back at full strength. And the puck loose in the center ice area. Here's Moeller to Anton Stosny. Quenneville breaks it up. Headmanning it into center ice to Stuart Gavin. Gavin drop pass to Everson. Cote knocked it away from him. Now Peter Stosny clears one. Babbage held it in. Here's Cote bumping Gavin off the puck, and that allowed Stosny to clear it. Held in by Babbage. A shot off the side of the net. Puck still loose in the Quebec zone. Cote trying to clear it. Babbage held it in. Moeller now for Quebec to Alain Cote. His pass went off a skate over to the other side. Lawless to Everson. To Gavin off the goal post. Stuart Gavin hit the post. And now Peter Stosny to Michel Goulet. And the Nordiques come the other way. 8-4, and they just hit a post. Here's Siltanen. Getting away from John Anderson. Risto Siltanen. Trying to center one. Over onto the other wing. Bobby Crawford shot wide. Now Jimmy Mann for Quebec. Left it there. Here's Ferrero centering one to Robertson. In front. Sevigny cleared that away. Ferrero to Robertson. Couldn't center. Eagles comes over. He upends everybody and then flipped it on the boards to Anderson. And the Nordiques have a 3-on-2, but broken up by Bothwell. Here's Ferraro, a 2-on-1 the other way. To Robertson. Sevigny with the save. And Quebec try and clear it. Crawford and Ferraro in there, and then just as the play is called, Eagles takes a Quebec man out of the play, and now Mann and Robertson threaten to get into it again in front of the net. And they're separated by the linesman. 6:54 left in the second period. It's 8-4 for Hartford. This is the NHL on CTV.
Blue skies and a blanket of white. Sunshine, oh what a sight.
This season, enjoy a ski vacation at the Sunshine Inn, Banff's only on-hill accommodation. Sunshine Ski Weeks and Weekends provide spectacular Rocky Mountain skiing for the whole family. And one low package price pays for everything, including entertainment. Ski Sunshine, Canada's all-time good time fun favorite.
Have a sunshine day. Have a sunshine day.
Penalty box looks almost empty now. Just one guy over there.
Just unloaded over there as 5 guys got out of the penalty box at that last whistle. There's just the one remaining now, and that's Merzen. And so he stays in for the remainder of his 10-minute misconduct.
Shots on goal in this period. Hartford 11, Quebec 3 in the game. 23-13 for Hartford.
These Nordiques, Dan, funny, the first 7 games of the year, of course, they won all 7 games. Then they went into a terrible slump, came back, won 6 in a row, actually undefeated 7 as the 7th game was a tie. Then they had their problems again. Then they won 7 in a row leading up to the game on Wednesday against Winnipeg. And now it looks like they're in the slump again. They are a streaky team. Somebody said in the dressing room earlier today, in the Nordiques dressing room, you know, as long as the highs aren't too high and the lows aren't too low. But that's the problem right now.
Here's an open net, and Turgeon just about jammed it in. Now Gillis at center ice to Paymoff. To Eagles, number 11. To Paul Gillis. Francis and Gillis collide in the corner. And then over comes Hoffman for Hartford. The Whalers try and break out. This game also starting to get more physical by the minute. Puck dumped in by Bothwell. Penalty coming up here against Quebec this time. And Hartford will have a power play. This is the NHL on CTV.
You've got the time, we've got the beer. For what you had in mind. Come on, it's Miller time.
Sticks are getting up. These two teams are going to face each other twice this weekend. And so now Quebec is trying to the high sticking on Gillis as he went up against the boards there. So a little commercial being given by the Nordiques that the next game isn't going to be like this one when they get into the Colisée in front of the Nordique fans. That, by the way, is the 50th minute in penalties and the 21st penalty issued by referee Don Koharski in this game. Did all that counting myself, Dan.
Dave didn't do it, huh?
He wouldn't help me at all. He gave up as soon as he took one look at my score sheet.
Here's Shaw trying to center to Hunter. Ferraro intercepts that. And Hartford with the man advantage, led by Ron Francis. Leaving it for Crawford. Rink wide to Babbage. Shooting, and just failing to tip that in was Francis. And then Anderson is able to clear it out for Quebec. Here is a chance. Anderson got it in, but broken out by Hartford, and here comes Francis. Into Crawford. Crawford shooting 70. He came about 15 feet out to make that save. And John Anderson for the Nordiques, who are shorthanded. Here comes Ray Ferraro. Leaving it. Robertson couldn't handle a pass. Here's Crawford. Into the corner. Back on the point. Silton in with a drive. That had 70 ducked, as well as Crawford, who was cutting behind the net. Into the corner. Shaw trying to slap it on the boards to Hunter. Hunter and Babbage collide, and then Quebec able to clear it out of there. Now back to the play. Another penalty coming up. And a delayed penalty coming up as Siltonen loses it. And now Quebec will be penalized again. And Dale Hunter will go for high sticking. The penalty parade continues here in Hartford. This is the NHL on CTV.
Tiny troubles.
Tiny troubles. Taking care of them is no trouble to us.
No trouble. In the upcoming intermission, we will get to know Quebec sniper Michel Goulet a little bit better, discuss the All-Star balloting, as Chuck Caton spends 2 minutes in the press box, bring you up to date on all the NHL scores, and Dave has the highlights.
Oh, who says that Dale Hunter's changed? Behind the play, a high sticking penalty. Dale's in the penalty box at 15:02. Faceoff will be in the center ice zone. And
that's either his 5th or 4th minor of the night.
2, 3, 4 of them. All sticking on 5 because he got a double minor.
I knew it was 4 or 5. Two-man advantage here for Hartford. Quebec 2 men short. Francis to Lawless. Ron Francis to Siltonen. Blasted it wide. Lawless, and that is tipped by Peter Stastny down the ice. Ron Francis for Hartford. Working it into Turgeon. His shot blocked at the defense by Picard. And intercepted, and Peter Stastny, with Quebec 2 men short, cleared it out. Now they're only 1 man short. Gillis comes back on. Now Moeller digging Evason out of the play. And Quebec 1 man short. Hunter has 1:10 left. Clear it to the Hartford line. Silton into Turgeon to Dean Evason. Drops to Lawless off the shoulder of 70 with that shot. Here's Francis. Shooting one, deflected, went wide. Another penalty coming up here to Quebec. Gillis gets the puck, and now another penalty to the Nordiques.
I think it's getting a little silly now. Koharski is really going to have to clamp down. I think he's doing a pretty good job. Randy Moeller's gone in for high sticking, and they're all high sticking stick fouls that we're getting. That's well, let's see, we've got how many high sticking penalties in this period? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them now in this period. Most of them to the Nordiques.
Dave, do you agree with Ron that this is the setup for the return match in Quebec?
Well, I think they have to do something. They're just putting their calling card on notice here that they're going back into Quebec tomorrow night. The thing is, Quebec is a character club, and that's what they're noted for. And this is the type of game, when it gets tough towards the end of the season, I think this is Quebec's style of play.
By the way, coming into the action tonight, here's a statistic. Quebec, 2nd ranked in goals against average in the NHL. They've given up 8. Here is a chance for Eagles. Weeks a save. Eagles the rebound. He hit the goal post with an open net. And now a penalty to Hartford on the play. Well, Mike Eagles.
He scores on that. And I'll tell you, Dan, this is the kind of a game where a 4-goal lead isn't that big a lead. He makes this one now. Watch this. He's got a great chance. This is a shorthanded situation. Good shot, good save, but the puck got behind on Weeks. Oh, give it back to me. Give me one more try. What Mike is saying. There's a holding penalty going out on that play.
Ray Ferraro got the penalty, which will mean Hartford will be 1 man short and Quebec 2.
Chance to look at this one again. Boy, there are some days.
Silted and fell down. That's what caused it all.
Here's the backhand. He's trying to corral it, and I guess if he'd reached just a little bit more to get a more blade on that one, Dave, I think probably he got it into the net.
Right. He just ran out of time, basically. I think he panicked probably a little bit. He couldn't believe, number one, he was 2 men down. He had an opportunity like that. He was, oh, my God, what am I doing here? But he shot off the side.
He's out there to kill a penalty, not score a goal.
Here's Shaw with a shot. Weeks handles that. Dave Babbage, Hartford still in a power play. 4 against 3. Turgeon, number 16. Back to Babbage. Into Turgeon. Rossmore slid out and blocked that. Here's Dave Babbage again. Centered. Turgeon shoots. He scores! Turgeon makes it 9-4 for Hartford.
I love to watch the natural goal scorer, Dan. Here is a guy who misses the shot, gets a second whack at it, and into the net it goes. You got the hands, you got the feel, you know what to do around the net, you know exactly where the net is.
I think the thing being here, the puck just seems to follow these fellows around. Again, as you said, bounce once, bounce twice. He stayed on top of it in the net.
Turgeon's having a pretty good night out there.
Assisted by number 44, Dave Babbage.
Dave Babbage gets an assist, as does the goaltender Steve Weeks. And it is 9-4 for the Hartford Whalers here over the Quebec Nordiques.
From Babbage and Weeks.
You see the rather disgusted look on the face of Michel Bergeron behind the bench. Who's winning? You see Bergeron, you see Jack Evans, who does not want to smile too much either. But he's got to be happy right now, a 9-4 lead.
3 minutes left in the second period. Each team a man short. That was a power play goal by the Whalers. Here is a puck for Delorme. Ebbison checks him, and now Peter Stosny. Back to Picard. To Delorme. At center for number 20, Mike Hoffman, or pardon me, Anton Stosny. Now Samuelson back to touch the puck. And it's an icing call here against Quebec.
We look there at Ulf Samuelsson, who maybe by the time his career is finished, the all-time penalty leader as far as Swedish players are concerned in the National Hockey League. He came into the league very defensive, and he was expecting that people are going to be running him, so he just started to play with the stick up all the time, Dave. And I guess you're a little nervous. That's what you do. And he's picked up a lot of penalties in that direction. He still carries the stick pretty high.
He does. The European players have come quite a ways as far as not being physically intimidated. And this fellow, he's a good player. Samuelson's a player.
Here's Picard with each team still a man short. We're late in the second period, and it's the Hartford Whalers 9, the Quebec Nordiques 4. Don't adjust your set. That is the score.
And don't go away. This might be a last shot win situation yet.
Here's Turgeon. Missed a check from Picard, but lost the puck, and Picard headmans to Anton Stosny. To Peter Stosny. Quenville tied him up, and Francis gets the puck. Ron Francis shot at the center. And Picard back to pick it up for Quebec to Delorme. Into center ice, Peter Stosny. Francis up there forechecking, and then Delorme took him out. And Delorme, number 6. Forecheck by Dave Tippett. Tippett for Hartford, centered. Francis shoots, he scores! Number 10 of the night for Hartford.
Oh, boy. Well, here's Francis now from the blue line. He is nailed pretty well right at the line by Gilbert Delorme. Peter Stastny then tried to take over, and Delorme came back, and he's checked off the puck there by Tippett. That's Tippett now just feeding it out, and it's chipped in over the shoulder of the goaltender and into the net. Sevigny, as he goes down, and the puck goes up over his shoulder. Oh, I'll tell you. Where's it going to stop? Double figures. Fans are having a ball here in the Hartford Civic Center as Francis gets his 18th goal of the year.
18 seconds.
I asked Wayne Gretzky last week when we saw he in Quebec City. Asked him about those high-scoring games. He said, well, the one in Chicago when we won 12-9, we had a lot of fun. The one in Toronto we lost 11-9 wasn't much fun. So if you're ahead, these high-scoring games are a lot of fun.
Here's Dwayne. I said, what about that 11-9 game in Toronto? He says, not even the refrigerator would have helped us.
10-4, that last scoring play. Francis from Tippett at 18-18. Ron Francis's second of the night, his 18th of the year. 15-5, the shots on goal here in the second period. Hartford in this period has scored 6 times. Quebec once. Here's Shaw. Shoots from the point, Weeks to save. And now Ferraro back on, the team's at full strength as Ferraro carries in for Hartford. Shaw blocked that. Here's a drive by Bothwell, just wide. And Quebec couldn't clear it out. Going back to get it is David Shaw. Shaw for the Nordiques. Miss Payma with the pass. It goes the length of the ice. David Babbitt's back to get it. They wave off the icing. Into forecheck is Greg Malone, who this morning was with Hartford, tonight with Quebec. And we're in the final minute of the period as Quenneville shot at the center. Cote giving it to Malone. Knocked down by Quenneville. Now Quebec try again with Malone, number 18. Quenneville is there. Handed it right to Goulet. Shoots one. Weeks save, and then he smothered it. And we're down to 39 seconds left in the second period.
Discussion going on there. Steve Weeks is going to survive this game, and as we mentioned, he did not have a great first period, but he has been so little worked here in the second period that it's become almost a night off for the goaltender now with the 10-4 lead. Quebec, you know, it's hard to pinpoint where things are going wrong for the Nordiques. I know one thing, they're giving up their blue line. They're backing into their own zone, and the way it's been going, especially here in the second period, it's allowed the Whalers to just come in in waves. They're not standing up. They're playing without confidence. And we mentioned earlier that when they play well, they're well nigh unbeatable. Obviously, they go through these long streaks. But then all of a sudden things just go sour on them, and it takes 7 or 8 or 9 games to get their game back on track.
We had some high-scoring games here last year on CTV at Hartford, a 7-6 Vancouver victory over the Whalers in overtime, and an 8-7 Hartford victory over Edmonton here. Now tonight, a 10-4 game. That's 24 goals we've had for the Whalers on CTV over the last couple of years in our last 3 visits here, and it's not over yet, although this period is coming to an end right here. A period to remember for the Hartford Whalers. Hartford getting 7 goals, in that period 6 goals, and Quebec 1. Shots on goal in the period, 15 for Hartford, 6 for Quebec. In the game, 27 for the Whalers, 16 for the Nordiques. And the score here on Friday night hockey on CTV after 2 periods. The Hartford Whalers 10, the Quebec Nordiques 4. This is the NHL on CTV.
And that one made it 8-3. It is now 10-4 and counting with another period to go. It's been a penalty-filled game. Now there is a statistic as Malarchuk is back in the nets now. That's the kind of night it has been. 15-0-0 when you're leading after 2 periods. I think that statistic is going to go up 1.
Malarchuk gave up the first 6, was replaced by Sevigny. He gave up 4, and Malarchuk is back in as the 3rd period begins. It's 10-4 here in Hartford. The Whalers over the Nordiques, and it's Randy Moeller, number 21, in his own zone. Hartford clearing it to center ice. Gola to Goulet, who has a break. Goulet weaks the save. Here's Gola. After the rebound, dropped it back, but it eluded Moeller and comes all the way to the Quebec line. Rochefort trying to tie up Lawless. And then Quebec clear it to center ice. Here is Goulet flipping it through to goal line number 31. Now Dale Hunter knocking it in. Evison breaks it out on left wing for Samuelson. Samuelson checked by Shaw, and then Samuelson ran into Shaw, and the Whalers clear it in. Robert Picard back to pick it up. Picard shot it to center ice, and Hartford carry back in, but this play is offside at the Quebec blue line. Well, Ron Roos, you love statistics. You have a chance tonight to scoop the world.
I'm beginning to love it less and less, having had to deal with this hockey game. In the game so far, it's been a scorer's nightmare, and it will be for the guy who has to enter it into the NHL computer overnight. A total of 16 skaters and 1 goaltender have accounted for points for the Whalers in the game so far. The only 2 who haven't got a point in this game for the Whalers, Evison and Bothwell.
So it's easier to say who hasn't had them than who hasn't. Here's Picard trying to stuff it in, and a backhander that Weeks was able to make a save on, and a very good scoring chance there for Robert Picard.
That's 2 in a row that Weeks has had to deal with, and as we watch this one, it's a backhand shot by Picard. There he is as he's fed in on the play. Watch him go. He shovels it up high, and Weeks had a difficulty dealing with that. And I'm beginning to wonder now whether the Whalers got to think of a 6-goal lead in the intermission and said, well, we've got enough, but we'll just quit. And now they're starting to back into their own zone and do the things that the Nordiques were doing through the first 2 periods. Watch out here.
Hartford cleared down the ice. Picard back to touch it, and it's icing against the Whalers. It would be pretty difficult not to think that you had a 6-goal lead, or not to have that subconsciously on your mind.
Well, I think that you're right. It's kind of it's easy to let down with a 6-goal lead, but I don't know about a team like the Nordiques who can get them by you. If they get a couple of early goals here, suddenly it's 4 goals, and then you're maybe starting to back into your own zen even more. By the way, the top scorer in this game is Ron Francis. He has a goal and 3 assists for the Whalers. Dave Tippett, a defensive-type player, has a goal and 2 assists. John Anderson for the Nordiques has 2 goals and 1 assist and 3 points so far in the game.
Here we go for the face-off with Hartford trying to break it out, clearing it into center ice, and Moeller knocks it down at the Quebec blue line to Will Payma. Now into center ice, broken up by Samuelson and shot right back into the Quebec zone. Moeller clearing it on the board. Samuelson missed it at the point, and going back for Hartford is number 20, Mike Hoffman. Hoffman with a pass to Turgeon. Cote intercepting that. Go back down by 6 goals early in the 3rd period. That's a dilemma the teams usually don't face, and particularly the Nordiques. Francis dumps it in. Quebec trying to clear it. Lead pass now on right wing to Payma. Payma taken out by Bothwell at the blue line, and then the play is offside at the Hartford Whaler blue line. We're just underway with the 3rd period here in Hartford. This is the NHL on CTV.
They've given you the advantage and only moments to make it count. There's no second best for you in the game you play or the beer you choose.
That's why you just say O-B for that great tasting beer. O-B, O-B, oh yeah, you just say O-B.
And a reminder of CTV's Wide World of Sports. Tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, the Air Canada Amateur Sports Awards will be part of the show. Johnny Esau hosting the 20th anniversary of the awards.
And tonight we have the wild world of hockey. 14 goals, 10 of them by the Whalers, and a 10-4 lead as Quebec try and battle back. Golab back on the point, a shot. Weeks had to make a save there on Rochefort. Now Golab trying to center, and it's Gavin for Hartford Trying to clear it out. Hunter held it in. Weeks handles that shot. And Tim Bothwell winding it around to Lawless. And the puck comes all the way to the Quebec end of the rink. Rossbourg back to get it. That's Evason into forecheck, but Quebec work it out on right wing. Number 31, Jean-Marc Golac couldn't handle it. Puck all the way down the ice. And it's Stilson in for Hartford. Into center ice. Miss Gavin with the pass. And it's Robert Picard. Feeding one to Goulet. Shot back in by Francis. And Picard goes back to Peter Stastny. Turgeon held it in. To Ron Francis. He was checked. Now Hoffman trying to drop it back but Quebec cleared, and Anderson gets it to Peter Stastny. Back checking on the plate. Turgeon lost it to Anton. He shoots, he scores! Anton Stastny with our Friday night 15th of the evening.
2-on-1 started with Peter Stastny, but he was stripped of the puck by Turgeon right at the blue line. Here comes Peter Stastny now. It's hooked away by Turgeon, but he lost it just as he tried to start up ice, and quickly it's turned right around and into the net by Anton Stastny. Look at it again. Good job by Turgeon, but he just didn't finish it. As he tried to pull it around Anton Stastny, he wound up losing the puck. Wow.
The moral of that story, when the Stastnys are on the ice, don't fool around with the biscuit in your own end of the rink.
Anton's second goal of the night.
Here's Anton Stastny again. Couldn't get anywhere, and Shaw feeding one ahead to Anderson. Wenville back to get it for Hartford. Trying to clear one. Now Anderson to Anton Stastny. McDermott racing after it. Pokes it by Picard. McDermott with tip it open, and a good defensive play. Sliding back and breaking it up was Shaw. Now Quebec the other way with Anderson. Anderson breaking in. Anderson still with the puck. Gets it in front. Moeller shoots. He blasted that one wide. Here's Anton Stastny. And intercepting it and clearing it is Jarvis for Hartford. Going back to pick it up as Moeller.
This is getting a little tense here. We're beginning to watch. We'll get a little tenser if another goal goes in the net, but you're beginning to see Hartford playing very poorly.
Here's Ferraro checked at center, and as Malone cleared it, it goes over the glass and into the crowd. 10-5, Hartford leading Quebec here in the third period. This is the NHL on CTV.
Who sells the best-built North American cars and trucks? Freedom Ford.
The best deals at Freedom Ford, and all enforce it.
From now till January 18th, Freedom Ford is offering tremendous savings on Tempos and Escorts. Escorts with 3-year unlimited mileage warranty and amazing $75.75. Tempos with air, only $99.95. While supplies last. Prices are in effect to January 18th, so act now at 75th and 75th. Freedom Ford.
Anton Stastny with his second of the night is 19th of the year. The last Quebec score, Dave Maloney. Ron was talking about Hartford coming into the period with a big lead. You probably never were on a team that had that big a lead, but
I've been behind in many cases. I can tell you what it's like being behind 10-5.
What is your thinking as you come into a game with a 10-4 lead?
Well, the thing you're looking at, Hartford's being guilty of looking at the clock now. It's 10-5 coming now. We have 15 minutes left. Sitting there, realizing, too, that they're going into Quebec, mind you, but still, this is 2 points in the hip pocket, but there's still 15 minutes to play. That's the big thing. They get guilty of looking at the clock.
And what about from the other standpoint, from the Quebec standpoint?
Well, really realizing they're going to play them again. They just send out the business cards, the call cards.
Here is Quebec with Moeller breaking into center ice, giving it to Goulet, but it was knocked away from him, and Seltinen takes it for Hartford. Out onto the wing to Evason, now into Gavin. He's checked by Cote. And right back the other way comes Malone, number 18. Dropping it. Moeller's shot. Weeks to save on that. Now Malone in front. Moeller with a chance on the backhand. Turns, shoots, scores! Moeller cuts it down to 10-6. Don't go to bed yet.
Dave, tell me all about taking a man out of the play in front of your net or letting him roam. This is a defenseman who's got the puck in front of the net. Moeller, number 21, and look what happens. Nobody goes near him.
That's right. Nobody taking charge. That's the big thing. You don't have a take-charge guy out there on either club, mind you. And that may be why they both struggle behind everyone. Moeller makes a nice play, though. He has the presence to hold on to the puck. He looks like a forward. He just holds on to the puck, buys his time in, la-di-da, nice and easy, but Hartford, they'll pick it up a notch.
Well, now it's 10-6.
And remember the one that Eagles hit the post on with an empty net? Here we come with Quebec and Anton Stastny. To Anderson, back to Anton Stastny. He's checked, and McDermott comes back the other way. To Tippett, number 15. Dropping it back. And the centering pass missed the mark. Hartford get it. Try and clear it behind the goal. And do. Here's McDermott to Quenneville. Over to Dave Babich. Flipping it in behind the goal. And it's Rochefort clearing it. Now in forechecking is Doug Jarvis. Gets some help from Tippett on the play. Puck comes loose, and Rochefort has it for Quebec. And just cleared it. Turning and shooting it back in is McDermott, number 23. And it's Rochefort again for Quebec. Now John Anderson, number 14. Trying to center one. Anton Stastny put it in front of the net. Up too high. Here's Shaw. He's checked, and breaking out is Turgeon. Overskates the puck. Shaw with the puck. Lost it to Francis. And now Picard to Anderson. Into Dale Hunter. Hunter trying to center, did, but intercepting and controlling it is Samuelson, who shot it to center. Golan gives it to Picard. Weeks turns that aside. And now it's Merzen, big rookie defenseman, clearing it to Turgeon, who got it to center. Oh, we've gone about a minute without a goal, and that's a Friday night, January 17th, 1986 record. Here's Picard into center ice. Goulet broke it up. Now Turgeon flipping it to Ferrero. Ferrero trying to shoot it in, intercepted by Golan. And Golan, number 31, breaks in on right wing, but Bothwell was there to clear it up. Now it's Moeller. Flipping one in to Malone, and the play is offside at the Hartford blue line. A Friday night shootout here in Hartford. This is the NHL on CTV.
For your convenience, the shuttle bus service will operate with you.
They've given you the advantage and only moments to make it count. There's no second best for you in the game you play or the beer you choose.
That's why you just say O.B. for that great tasting beer. O.B., O.B., oh yeah, you just say O.B.
Well, I would have to say, without having seen a replay, Michel Goulet just got a gift if they don't change this now. Watch for Goulet's number 16. They credited him with the goal, but this is Moeller circling out, backhanding the shot. Now, where's Goulet as Moeller goes to the forehand? I don't know. I don't know where he was. I think they just flat misread the play. I don't think he was even on the ice for that sequence.
Well, the referee and the scorer may be a little weary at this point. 16 goals does tend to wear on a person. I thought it was Moeller's goal all the way. Goulet was away off to one side. I'm sure they'll change that to the way we called it. Here's Cote back to the goal, and Malone tried to clear it around onto the boards. Bothwell held it in, but Quebec blocked it, and back they come with Goulet. Goulet to Moeller. Over onto the wing, saved by Weeks on the shot by Malone. And Silton in for Hartford. Check. Bothwell there to clear it quickly. Hartford now trying to shoot it out. Quebec holding it in. Quebec score again. Hold on to your hat. Here's Moeller with a shot wide of the net. Into the corner, Gavin. Silton is there to clear it away. And it will be icing against Hartford as Moeller goes back to touch it. I don't see there's any way that Randy Moeller didn't score that last goal.
I think that eventually...
If I was going to bet on two guys, I'd bet on Moeller more than Goulet anyway.
Now we're nearing the halfway point of the period. The shots on goal, Quebec 8, Hartford nothing in this period. That tells you a little bit. I think that Hartford is just flat sitting on it. Boy, sometimes there's a time to quit, Dave, in a game where you can say, all right, we can pack it in. It's usually you got a 5-goal lead with 5 minutes left.
Here's Weeks juggling a shot from the point by Donnelly, and then he was able to get a grasp on it.
As you were mentioning, Dan, it's kind of a interesting comment that the 7th goal would be a very big goal in a hockey game, because that's what it looks like. Hartford now a little panicked. They just seem to be whacking the puck down, freezing it up. It's not over.
Former Whaler, Greg Malone. Was a Whaler this morning when we were at practice. So new, as a matter of fact, that he's out there using a green stick, which is the Hartford colors.
Here's a centering pass. Now Peter Stosny tried to get it in front, but Hartford break it up and clear the zone. And here comes Tippett, number 15. Ahead to McDermott, but Rossbohr is there defensively to Anderson. Quebec trying to battle back. They've cut the Hartford lead to 10-6. Puck at the Hartford line, and Quenneville gives it to Babich, ahead to McDermott, who just dumps it in. Here's Donnelly, number 34. To Anton Stosny. And center to Anderson, and that's called back on a 2-line offside pass.
John Anderson, as he is now it's up to 9-0 the shots on goal in this period. John Anderson, as you look at him on your screen, is the best as far as the Nordiques are concerned. 2 goals and 1 assist in this game. By the way, we should correct the Ron Francis thing. I had the point total right. I just misplaced a goal there. 2 goals and 2 assists. So
another Dave Maloney mistake there.
I'm surprised I didn't get blamed for that one. But
well, we'll get tougher on you as the season goes along. Here's Francis for Hartford. Moving it in on right wing to Turgeon. Squeezed out by Picard. Dale Hunter for Quebec. Shot it to center, and Merzen has it there. Ahead to the newcomer, Hoffman for Hartford, who shot it in. Donnelly clearing it. Hoffman intercepting, trying to center. Picard knocking that away. Getting it to Golad, center ice. Golad, number 31, trying to work it to Eagles, but Hartford break it up. Now it's Shaw for Quebec. Shot it in, and the play is offside at the Quebec blue line. Getting away from this game for a moment, Dave Maloney. You finished last season with the Buffalo Sabres. Were you surprised that Jim Schoenfeld was let go today and Scotty Bowman is back behind the bench?
I was very surprised, to tell you the truth. I did not think that I had been asked that a number of times, whether I thought that Scotty was coming back, and it doesn't look like I'm predicting anything these days. But in the meantime, it is a surprising move. I just felt that
21 got the goal. One I gave to
Jim
him.
Schoenfeld was a step in the direction that Buffalo needed. But Scotty's calling the decisions, or making the decisions, and now it's all upon him.
Just by the way, you might have heard there, that was Don Koharski just mentioning number 21 scored that goal, so it'll be Moeller.
And not Goulet.
Not Goulet.
Play underway as Quebec clear it into center ice. Hema couldn't get anywhere as he was checked by Torrey Robertson. Now Moeller in his own zone for Quebec. Banked it off the boards, and Malone has it. Comes to Cote, who's out playing as a defenseman now, and here's another 2-line offside infraction.
Tough life referees have to deal with. As you look at Randy Moeller there, Don Koharski has had one of those games where he's been extremely busy, although not in this period. Take a look at this now. That's Koharski backed up against the boards here, and no, it's not the referee. It's one of the linesmen. That's Bateman. You see how they can get hurt once in a while.
Mother, don't let your son grow up to be a goaltender or a linesman. Add that to the song. Here's Malone. Couldn't clear it in. Gavin knocked it back to center. Now Quebec on the attack as Malone, number 18. Got it in front. Cleared away by Siltanen. Now Goulet with a shot. That hit Ferraro. Ferraro trying to clear it. Cote checked, and Gavin feeds to center to Robertson. Moving it over onto the other wing, but broken up by Quebec and fed to center, and here's Goulet. Goulet leaving it for Moeller. Shoots one. Weeks makes a save and held onto it. We have 8:55 remaining here in the third period. This is the NHL on CTV.
It's McDonald's most exciting game ever. Expo 86 McMillions. We're going to fill Canada with millions of winners. Over $8.6 million in prizes available to be won. Millions of food prizes, thousands of cash prizes, and 860 trips via CP Air and Delta Hotels to Expo 86. Your 1 in 11.
It's a good time to play McMillions at McDonald's.
You could be a winner.
Well, Ron Roosh and Dave Maloney, hope you have all your gears set to pick the defensive star of this game.
We may enlist you, Dan, before this is done. We may need a vote like the All-Star game here.
I don't think I'll vote tonight.
How are you going to pass it up?
We are going to pass this one into the night.
Dan is showing true chairman of the board qualities. He's giving decisions that he can't make to you and I.
Keep yourself on the sidelines.
Buck, you're passing the responsibility.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
By the way, with all your predictions, I hope you're doing better on Wall Street. Dave Maloney is a stockbroker when he's not telling us funny stories about hockey. In New York City, here's Donnelly trying to fire it in. Babbitt's back for Hartford as the Whalers have settled down a little here in the last couple of minutes. Shot in by Hartford and digging into forecheck. Hartford's centering pass comes to McDermott. He's taken out by Donnelly, and now Peter Stosny gets away from Jarvis. Shot at the center. Hartford with a 10-6 lead. Puck cleared in by Jarvis, and Rochefort goes back to get it for Quebec.
To me, Dan, it looks like the Nordiques seem to have run out of gas here now. They've just simply run out of it. They had their little spurt to start the period, and now it's kind of gone away from them.
Long shot by Shaw, kicked aside and cleared down the ice. To me, it looks like a Sunday afternoon shinny game on Dow's Lake in Ottawa. Ever hear of that?
No, I know Beaver Lake in Vancouver.
Either one would qualify. Here's Picard trying to center one. Weeks knocked it away. Moeller to Dale Hunter. Now Golag comes up with the puck for Quebec. Back on the point. Picard shoots one wide of the net. Here's Hunter trying to flip it in front. Samuelson broke it up and then took Hunter out of the play. Merzen tried to clear it. Shaw held it in to Golag. Now Merzen flipping it over on right wing to number 20, Mike Hoffman. Hoffman gets another try and gives to Turgeon. Turgeon one-on-one against Shaw, and the shot went off Shaw wide of the net. Goulet for Quebec with 7 minutes left. Couldn't get it out. Shaw tries. Here's Golat at center ice for Goulet to Hunter, but intercepted by Robertson and cleared to Ferrero. Ferrero now to Stuart Gavin, number 7. Taken out of the play by Moeller. Hartford Gavin getting the puck again. Gets some help from Robertson. Cote taking him out, and now Hunter for Quebec. At center ice to Payma. Broken up by Bothwell. Now Moeller shooting it in. These teams have apparently run out of gas and goals. We're in Hartford. It's 10-6 for the Whalers here in the third period. This is the NHL on CTV.
Goalies are really the glamour guys of hockey.
We got it all.
Good looks, good taste.
We even drink Miller Lite.
Light is brewed right here in Canada.
And we like it because it tastes great.
No, we like it because it tastes less filling.
Tastes great.
Tastes less filling.
Tastes great.
Tastes less filling.
Oh, hey, wait, we better stop this.
Yeah, we don't want to take a chance in hurting our good looks.
No, you said it.
Light beer from Miller, now brewed in Canada. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Friday night hockey on CTV, coming to you from Hartford. I'm Dan Kelly, Ron Roosh and Dave Maloney alongside. Dan Matheson down in our CTV studio. Here's a face-off in the Hartford zone, and Malone fires it around on the boards. Bothwell is there for Hartford. Clearing one. And Robertson poked it out to the Quebec line for Hartford. Rochefort back to get it. Rochefort, forecheck by Ferrero, but circles and feeds it to Eagles, number 11. Eagles shooting it in. Weeks leaving it, and Bothwell takes over. Oh, a very poor clearing pass. Payma had a chance. Drops it back. Here's Donnelly rifling one wide. Now at the other point, Rochefort. He missed the net. And Hartford's Robertson cleared at the center. And here's Ray Ferrero, number 26. Drop pass to Crawford that missed the mark. Rochefort just clears it out. with a 10-6 lead. Dave Tippett dumping it in. Back is Shaw for Quebec. Clearing one to Anton Stastny. Now to number 4, Shaw. David Shaw for Quebec. Into Stastny, checked, and McDermott quickly cleared it for Hartford. And it's Picard for Quebec. 5 minutes left in the third period. Picard hits it again, shoots it into the Hartford zone. This is Dave Babish. Now to number 27, Jarvis, former Washington Capital, former Montreal Canadian. And the goaltender is given a good hand by the crowd as he stopped the long shot. Malarchuk, who needs this. Not at all. Here's Anderson coming in. Broken up and cleared back out by the Hartford rookie Mike Hoffman. Quebec try again. Anderson can't get around the defense. Here's Peter Stastny. Checked by Samuelson. Peter Stastny to Anderson. Weeks dives across, made the save, and held on. We're down to 4:11 remaining here in the third period. This is the NHL on CTV.
It's time, gentlemen. Time to shop the January clearance sale at Walt's Clothes Closet. 30 and 50% savings throughout the store. And what a selection. Suits, sport shirts and jackets, slacks and coordinating dress shirts. All at either 30 or 50% off. It's Walt's largest sales event of the year, so if you're a serious shopper, you can't afford to miss it. The January clearance sale on now at Walt's Clothes Closet, 10016 Jasper Avenue, kitty corner from the McDonald Hotel.
The New York Islanders have staged a startling comeback at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Mark Hamway, Brent Sutter, Brian Trottier all scoring in the third. Trottier at 19:59.
Big win for the Auditors. They move 4 points ahead of the Rangers in Pittsburgh in that Patrick division. And we'll have the Islanders in Washington next Friday night on CTV. Here we're down to less than 4 minutes to play in a 10-6 shootout that Hartford is in control of now. And now as Gavin tried to clear it, he cleared it up over the glass. And Alain Cote gave him a rather menacing look.
Not only a menacing look, it looked like a left hook as well, or a right hook. And so we're going to get nothing come out of all that except a face-off. I haven't had a penalty in this third period. The teams have settled down. But the shots on goal in the period now are 12-1 favor the Nordiques, but there's no snap to their game at all. There's a lot of territorial action there, but they're not jumping on the puck. They're not going for it, and I think we can safely assume this game is going to end pretty much the way it looks right now, 10-6.
We haven't had a goal for about 14 minutes either. That's a record this evening. Last goal came at 5:20 of the period, the one that Moeller scored. Here's Quebec trailing by 4 with just under 3.5 minutes remaining. The Nordiques back into their own zone. Hunter for Quebec to Cote, who's out playing on defense again. Shot back in by Gavin, a bouncer that Malarchuk handles. And Moeller for Quebec has difficulty now. Circles and will feed it up the middle to Hunter. Number 32, Hunter, with 3 minutes left. Couldn't get anywhere, and he circles back. Now to Donnelly. Long lead pass intended for Goulet into the Hartford zone. Bothwell there to touch it, and it's an icing call against Quebec. We're down to 2:48 remaining. 10-6 Hartford leading. This is the NHL on CTV.
Tiny troubles.
Tiny troubles. Taking care of them is no trouble to us.
Thank you.
No trouble.
The other game of interest and of some concern for both these teams tonight is Montreal at Buffalo, and they are in overtime there. Guy Carbonneau scored for the Canadians, Pat Hughes for the Sabres in the third period.
Here it is. In no doubt, Hartford with a 10-6 lead. Donnelly clearing one. Down on right wing for Paymont, will go the length of the ice. And the goaltender Weeks sets it up for Siltanen. Now to Ron Francis. Shot it off the boards to the Quebec line and then cleared in. And going back the Nordiques. Donnelly shooting one to Eagles. Eagles number 11 rifles one. Weeks makes the save on that. And then came diving out to get the rebound, and we're down to 2 minutes, 15 seconds left.
As we mentioned, only 2 players on the Whalers without points tonight. Bothell and Everson are the 2. And so as this winds down, it'll be one of those big victories for the Whalers, because what it does in the standings is put the Whalers to within 2 points of the Boston Bruins with a game in hand. The Buffalo Sabres are, of course, involved with the Montreal Canadiens in a very close game in the Buffalo Auditorium right now as well, and that will have an effect as well if we look back on the evening's play. But for Quebec, should Montreal win or tie, of course, it will break the first place tie for the lead.
The Whalers, with a victory, can go 2 games over 500. That's something they've never accomplished in the NHL, going through the season over the 500 mark. Here's Shaw from the point, shoots one. Weeks to stick save. And now it's Hartford trying to clear it. Shaw held it in. Into the corner, David Babbage cleared it. Hit a Quebec player, came right back to Babbage. And he feeds one to Jarvis. Into center ice. And shot in by Hartford's McDermott. Quebec trying to clear it. Quenneville held it in to Tippett. Tippett centered. Shot, they score! McDermott makes it 11-6.
McDermott's played pretty well tonight. He's been laying the weight on a little bit. And for McDermott in this game, that is his 2nd goal. He has 3 points. Take a look at it again as it unfolds in front of the net. It slipped across. Good high shot. Is slow getting across was Malarchuk. Set up by in front of the net there by Tippett. 11-6. The identical score. They beat the Canadiens in this building with earlier in the year.
So it's 11-6 here for Hartford. That ties the Hartford club record for most goals in the home game. Here's Goulet. Long shot. Weeks to save, and Merzen for Hartford moving it out to Gavin. Quebec holding it in. Hunter has control. Number 32, Hunter. Got it in front and shot just wide by Goulet. Now Donnelly at the point. 1:15 remaining. Quebec center it. Merzen on his knees, able to clear it out of there. And Malarchuk drops it back behind his own goal. Penalty coming up, by the way, here against Hartford. Delayed penalty as Goulet carries in to Hunter. Now to Goulet. Around to Golab. Got it in front. Goulet, and Weeks a stick save as he came diving across. And now as Everson gets control of the puck, a holding penalty called against Ulf Samuelsson here with 48 seconds left in the 3rd period.
48 seconds left. We see Samuelsson go in. This one is nearing a merciful end, I would have to say.
And last scoring play, McDermott from Tippett and Quenneville. So another point for Tippett. And I know he was among your leading scorers on the night. What's that now?
Well, Tippett came into the period with a goal and 2 assists, so add another one.
That makes 4. Dave Maloney just told me. This has been crazy. 45 seconds left. Here's Picard. Shoots. Weeks to save. Peter Stastny in to try for a rebound, and he fell on top of the Hartford goaltender. And we're down to just 40 seconds remaining.
You know, I don't even remember. I would take
Face-off will be in the Hartford zone. 11-6 is the score in favor of Hartford over Quebec. Here's Picard for the Nordiques. Robert Picard. Trying to center, did. Weeks tipped it away. Held in by Peter Stastny. Now to Anton. And Quenneville knocks that away. Over onto right wing comes Babbage. And it's cleared down the ice with 20 seconds remaining. Hartford shorthanded, so able to ice the puck. Here's Anderson getting it to center. Gavin intercepts. He moves in. Dropping it to Jarvis. Jarvis' shot well wide of the target. And this game winds down to a conclusion. And the Hartford Whalers win 11-6 over the Quebec Nordiques. Ron Rusch, if I didn't say it, I don't think I'd believe it when I heard the score tomorrow morning.
No, they are going to be analyzing that one. A few people who haven't seen this game and saying, what in the world happened in Hartford last night to the Nordiques and to the Whalers?
And by the way, word in from Buffalo, Gates Orlando scored in overtime. Buffalo beat Montreal 5-4. So Buffalo and Hartford remain at a tie for the fourth and final playoff spot in the Adams division. The final here tonight, Hartford 11, Quebec 6. This is the NHL on CTV.